Yes, hey there, Ananya. How's it going? Advocate.
Well, how have you been? How's life?
Pretty good, and I must tell you that some of my viewers they were quite impressed by your vocabulary, your articulation.
Very kind.
So
Thank you.
yeah, I thought that I must have to share it with you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah.
what have you experienced this week? Has something new come up? Have you learned something new?
Yeah, like in terms of English, I learned few things. Uh, Although I'm not able to recall it at the moment, but
Mm,
yeah, there were many things that I learned. And this weekend has been good so far. Hectic.
mm.
Yeah, it was really hectic. But yeah, it was fulfilling. And I guess I downloaded the film today, War 2. So I'm like looking forward to watching it, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you're into watching Bollywood movies? Is that something that you
No,
really enjoy?
no,
Or is it
not at
just
all.
an occasional, once in a while kind of a situation?
Yeah, that once in a blue moon kind of thing,
Mm.
specifically with Hrithik Roshan. Like when it comes to Bollywood, I'm a big fan of that person. So I admire his film. So that's
Okay.
what. Yeah.
Okay. So, what all films have you watched of this particular Bollywood actor?
What other films? I would say that most of the films, yeah, be it like his classic films. What was it? His first film, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, again, my mind is like a sieve. Kaho Na Pyar Hai. Yeah, that one. Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Then
So you
Krish.
watch those kind of hardcore Bollywood movies as well, only for this particular actor.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Any qualities that you feel like this actor actually embodies, which maybe make you kind of want to watch his films? Is there any particular reason, or is it just that the physique and you get really motivated by it?
Yeah, that's one of the things, and his life story itself. I would say that he has faced a lot of challenges when he was a child. I guess he had that stuttering issue,
Mm-hmm.
and he had some issues with his spine also. And the way, like the good things, the way he moves, the way he acts is like combination of all the things. Plus, on top of it, he's a Greek god, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a like combo package. But I feel like somehow he didn't get the I guess the response from the audience that he deserves it, you know. So I feel like somehow he's still struggling to make an impact, but he deserves a lot better, you know, a lot more.
Absolutely. And a while back, like not in these years, I think even I was quite younger. I think he had an accident or an incident where
Yeah,
he had to undergo a surgery, and there was this fact that he used to smoke earlier. And obviously,
yeah,
that's a
that's
very
right.
good thing. But then he started reading a book. So I would also say for
Mm,
whoever's watching, there's a lot of power in what you read and how you get influenced by it. Not just
definitely.
now that we have podcasts and everything, you can actually bring that to life, and even audiobooks, which, where people think that they don't have the time to sit and read. So they can listen to the entire thing point to point. But I mean, he said that even being in an industry where, you get influenced by all of these things, he was locked in his room after the surgery because obviously he was very sensitive to the environment. I think he had a brain surgery, if I'm not wrong. Something very
Yeah,
intense back then,
yes, yes,
right?
maybe,
With
yeah.
that, yes. And he quit smoking. He said, I read that book for
Mm,
3 days. I was in the room for 3 days, but I quit smoking after. I mean,
true.
I was impressed first by his sheer willpower, because anything like that, any activity so intense which has the addicting factor to it, will take a lot of willpower to leave, no doubts.
Definitely.
With that, I would also say that the power of a book and power of words can actually move mountains. I have
True.
seen people quit onto their mundane lives, take up a new profession out of the blue just because they read a book, they maybe read somebody's life story, they had a conversation with somebody. I've
Mm,
known people, and if you see travel bloggers, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of people like that, right?
yeah,
And sometimes they've met a monk. Then
yeah,
their idea and their whole perspective on a thing just changes. Because changing somebody's opinion and perspective is a next to impossible task until and
true.
unless it is a brain opening realization.
Definitely.
The
Full
windows of
agree.
the brain are always closed in that regard. So that particular thing actually requires a lot of effort.
True. Couldn't
So
agree more. Yeah, definitely. And in the light of what you are saying, I guess there is a quote in terms of the people that you surround yourself with, like you are the average of five people that you spend your time with. So it's really, you have to be conscious that with whom you are spending your time, because you're gonna imbibe the vibe from that person.
absolutely, because sometimes when even you don't have a positive mindset, somebody's mood might inflict upon yours.
True.
And if you are very sensitive to people's energies, you get affected negatively. You won't even realize why you're feeling heavy. So that
Definitely.
happens for a lot of people who are very sensitive to energies and people. And I think that also affects their mood, their language, their communication skills. It's a vicious cycle. So
Definitely. Couldn't agree
this,
more.
this is actually a thing that I have experienced because sometimes you don't feel like talking to people.
True.
Sometimes when your mood is too heavy, you feel like, how am I supposed to connect with somebody and convey a particular message maybe I'm meant to when I'm not in that state of mind? I mean, that happens to a lot of people. Have
Definitely.
you
Yeah.
faced a situation like that?
Yeah, definitely all the time. Like when I meet, although I'm fortunate enough, luckily, for the last couple of years, I've never met anyone like that. But even if I have to, I make sure that I stay calm as cucumber. And I know that their words don't hold any value, even if they say something that is, against my morals, ethics, or if they try to give me some sort of advice. Like usually at, family. Gatherings and all, people have the habit of giving unsolicited advice. So I
Absolutely.
don't, yeah, so I don't take it. Although nowadays I'm kind of an advocate in terms of that. I
Mm.
don't, I'm not silent when people are there with me, and if they are trying to, impose their mentality on me, I give them a befitting reply. So they kind of stay away, they don't take it for granted that like there are people who are kind of introvert. So
Mm.
I feel like I was an introvert before. At that time, I used to face a lot of issues. But once you start speaking up, once you start stepping up for yourself, people would at least think twice prior to saying something to you.
Yeah, that is very true. Honestly, that's absolutely true. Because sometimes you have to establish boundaries with even the closest
True.
people that you have. And communication, again, in whatever language that may be,
Yeah,
communication
definitely.
plays a huge, huge role.
Yeah.
Because if you're not able to communicate, sometimes people might not be able to imbibe what you're trying to hint at. Some people might be very bad at taking hints. But if you are verbal about it, if you
Yeah.
establish that boundary very, very clearly that this line cannot be crossed, no matter how
Hmm.
close you are, could be in terms of family, could be in terms of friends, could be in terms of professionals as well, that you're
Definitely.
working with. You have to have very strong boundaries. I realized that a little later in life, but obviously I won't say I haven't, and I'm still learning because trying to understand other person and their boundaries is a tough task, and especially in my profession where you meet different people even with clients. I
Yeah.
understand there's an urgency to the matter. I understand that there is a particular nature to the matter, and I understand that you're very anxious about what is going to happen, but you have to trust each other. You have
True.
to be very honest about it. Only then will the communication flow, and once that flows, only then your particular doubt can be answered. If
Makes
you're
sense.
if it is only a one-sided conversation, how do you suppose that the conversation is a success?
Hmm.
Cannot be. Even with this generation students, the teenagers, if they feel they have something they want to talk about, they will not just be very direct, or either they'll be too direct about it, but they have to realize how to cushion their comments. They have to realize how to be soft in their approach to how to be adamant in their approach. Sometimes the extremities in both the cases of being too soft in your approach or being too harsh is both very, very deteriorating in nature for their
Hmm.
for
Makes
any
sense.
matter that they are taking, whether it is communication, whether it is relationships, whether it is talking to your professor or talking to anybody. So there has to be a particular way, there is a nature, there's a boundary which cannot be crossed, which is
True.
important, I feel.
Definitely, definitely. And you have to, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, you have to be like, you have to speak up. You cannot be an introvert, because in today's world, if you don't gonna speak up, people will dominate over you, They would take it,
Absolutely.
they would consider you as someone who is, like, even if you are shy, I guess these are some of the traits which sometimes people say that it's okay, but I feel like in real life, it's not okay to be, because I have passed through those kind of phases in my life. So now I can say it, you know. If I
Mm.
would have been shy, or if I would have been an introvert, I won't be doing this thing with you and uploading on my
Absolutely.
YouTube channel.
Which is again a global platform. So imagine it is
Yeah,
not just you talking to an individual on the other side of the screen. It is you and I trying to have a conversation with anybody we can help out there who might be
definitely.
going through this similar situation, who might reach out to you for help. And maybe through my words or something like that, something that you bring up in this conversation, they are able to understand and you are able to help them out further. So there are a number of possibilities. Maybe
True.
supposed to you are supposed to cross their path to help them out in a certain phase in life. You don't
Mm,
even realize how people are supposed to be linked to each other. So I think there are a
definitely.
number of possibilities when it comes to so many things out there. Initially, when you talk to somebody about spirituality, understanding the universe or anything, people just shun it off. But honestly,
Mm,
there are so many things that probably you and I sitting in this room cannot probably just understand, that there is so much to life than
true.
just we are trying to teach in a small world out there. There are endless
Definitely.
opportunities. So,
True.
even anybody out there who feels, oh, I didn't crack this exam and this was the end of the world for me, I have no future left, especially students,
Yeah.
no, or somebody who didn't get the dream job they had hoped for, maybe that wasn't meant for you. Maybe your idea of that job was something which is not the same on ground. And if you,
Mm.
some people are not happy with their dream jobs. That has also
Yeah.
happened. Why?
Yeah.
Because then I feel this is not what I wanted to do exactly. Because this is not what I had dreamed of. So
Mm.
you have to kind of become the person who makes your dreams come true. Like you must have heard the saying, like you have to work hard to make your dreams come true. So it's
True.
the same thing. Sometimes you're not getting what you want. You have to customize it according to your needs, but you have to work for it.
Definitely.
And maybe you become very successful very quickly once you've realized this is the kind of thing I want to do and this is the direction I want to go in. So it kind of matters on the same lines, yes.
True. And even in the light of what you are saying, like when it comes to dreams, like enjoy the process, because ultimately once you reach that position, you'll be enjoying for like some amount of time, then you'll jump
Yeah,
onto the next one. So I guess
absolutely.
process matters a lot rather than the destination itself.
Absolutely. It matters a lot.
Yeah,
You know, but sometimes the process and the journey, they have to teach you some things also before you reach
definitely.
the
Yeah,
destination. Then you realize that this is not the destination that I'm heading for.
yeah, it can
Maybe.
happen.
Yes.
True.
Maybe
Yeah,
once you reach the destination very quickly, maybe once you reach the destination very quickly, you realize that this is not where you were heading. So
true.
it
Definitely.
depends. It absolutely depends. So nothing is
Definitely.
fixed.
Yeah, life always happens, and it always happens in the wildest ways. Like I have never thought that I would be an English teacher. Or like I used to abhor schools, subjects and all, but
Mm-hmm.
it happened accidentally. One thing led to another, and here I am. So I guess
Maybe that
destiny,
is what
karma.
your goal was, and maybe over the your couple of years, you reach a global level where you're helping not just in spoken English, maybe in so many other things that
True.
you're working for a international cause. You never know where life takes you next. This is just one phase of
Definitely.
your life. So you can't
Definitely. Yeah.
really put a pin in it. Okay, this is what I wanted to achieve. I have also seen people who've had their entire lives mapped out from the day one of college.
Yeah.
They have done that. Once they've reached the level because they were so focused. I will not say they don't do it. They do it. And then they just turn their careers 360 degrees because this is not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I
Definitely.
feel they've lived their entire life in a box trying to do that one thing and have, ignored everything in the process. They've
Hmm.
ignored making friends. And at a certain point in time, after you cross the age of 30 and, in your late 30s or 40s, where you feel making friends is a really hard task because everybody's in their own shells. And you feel,
Definitely.
how am I supposed to make friends?
Hmm. True.
These things
True.
actually kind of get affected in the longer run. So, only suggestion to anybody who's watching this or gets helped, or if you're in a similar situation, would be that enjoy the process. I know
True.
things might be tough right now. Things might not, you might be hanging in the middle. You're waiting for a conversation, you're waiting for something which may come, which may not come, but that is not the end of the world for you. It
True.
might be very important. I'm not saying don't consider it important, but don't consider it the only thing that is important in your life. You're healthy,
Hmm.
you're happy, you're breathing, you're fine. People actually have made severe sacrifices so their siblings do well in life. People have had tougher times than you can probably imagine. If you are not able to shop something online, it's not the end of the world if it is out of stock or it is not
Yeah.
available in stores. If it was
Yeah.
for you, if you were supposed to buy that, It would have come maybe 10 days down the line, you will find something way better and you would have been so happy you
True.
did buy it. So you never know how life works out. You never know how situations work out for you. So
True.
it is absolutely unpredictable.
Completely. Yeah. Yeah. In the light of what you said, like in terms of buying, I guess we're gonna discuss that in the next session. I have
Yeah.
a lot of things to, yeah, we can consume, like we can talk about consumerism that most of
Mm,
us suffer nowadays. So I guess that would be the topic for next session, I guess.
absolutely, because just touching upon the topic, I would just give you a brief on anybody who's watching for that matter, is because right now we are absolutely digital. We are
Hmm.
consumers in every way or form. We have books also in the digital form. We have entire contents, our diary writing. Some people journal on their phones. Your entire life is online. Your entire life is a small device or a laptop that you're sitting in front of.
True.
How do you think you're not a consumer? You are absolutely a consumer in every way possible.
Definitely.
Want to have a conversation, you call your friend who's living abroad through laptops and, FaceTimes and whatnot, and you're constantly on calls. How is that possible? That is possible because you're a consumer of a particular application, and that is not going to happen without you being a consumer. So there are endless
Hmm.
things, there are endless situations to the same.
Definitely, definitely. And the constant state of comparison itself,
Absolutely.
like, if my neighbors have this and this, I want to have it by hook or crook. So
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
also there. Yeah.
All right, then we'll take it up in the next session then.
Yeah. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were on the like discussing the topic, I guess, consumerism. So
Yes,
yeah.
we started about it. So, what are your thoughts on consumerism? Like, where is this idea of yours coming from consumerism? How are you connecting it to the things that we do, and how are we getting affected? I would like to know your entire mindset about this.
I feel like we are being trapped into that. And I watched a movie many months ago that was known as Fight Club,
Mm,
starring Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. And that it was there was a monologue that Brad Pitt told that we buy the things that we don't want to impress the people that we don't like. So
mm,
that really hit me hard, like he spoke volumes over there. So I feel
mm,
like that's how the entire things are there. We are chasing materialistic things, and
mm,
we just do it to show the society, to put status, to put
mm.
Instagram stories. So I guess that's what we are running after.
Absolutely. So, but do you think that sometimes this ideology or whatever we kind of deal with can be used in a positive sense?
If you invest in like good things, like be it education, be it healthcare, then it can be good. Yeah, definitely. Why not? But what we tend to do is like we buy clothes, we buy iPhones just to show off to people. iPhone 17. Like recently, there was it launched newly, and there were
Yeah.
like claims that nothing is new in that, but people will still buy it just to show it. That they
Yeah,
have the
it's
Apple.
more of a status symbol. Sometimes consumerism can
Definitely.
also be linked to you being updated or
Yeah,
status symbol, even when somebody is not wanting to do that, but just because they want to show off. That is also
definitely.
consumerism, and you just get influenced by people again. You might not even need that product, and you end up buying. Why? Because your friend had it and it looked nice, and you don't
True.
have to use it. It's not required by you, but yet you end up buying that kind of products. So that happens, right? So
True. Yeah,
consumerism can have its positive impacts as well. Sometimes, if a person is investing into reading or habits into like
definitely.
hypothetically through this channel and they think that even I want to indulge in sessions and they subscribe to Clapingo. For as that matter of fact, maybe that is, I would say that is some sort of
Yeah,
a
that is good thing. Yeah,
consumerism.
definitely.
But then again, if somebody gets influenced, oh, they're watching movies to learn English, so I should just get a Netflix subscription
Yeah,
and only watch movies because they said that something about watching movies and improving English, and but they don't know the procedure out of it. You don't know where you stand in terms of learning the language. So maybe doing that is fine. You might improve, but to understand how you're supposed to do it in an efficient manner, you might need help. So there are n number of
true.
factors I feel that kind of go with it and whatnot. So that
Makes sense. Yeah.
is absolutely very, very important. So yeah,
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, and this constant cheese, once you get even that thing, once you get that thing, you won't be satisfied with it. You'll have it for like couple of days, and that thing would be there in the corner of some bedroom or something. So you won't even pay attention to that thing. You'll be like searching for new things to buy if you're from, if you're belong to a like affluent family. In my
Absolutely.
case, I cannot do that much. Yeah, and I don't even want to do that. But yeah.
That's absolutely true because I think that this generation of the coming generation who's stepping into power next after us, I'd definitely say that these kids, like I would say that there are certain set of students that I have worked with previously, not on these platforms. When I was, they were my interns and associates. They don't have the bandwidth or the ideology of hard work, and it is not their fault.
Mm,
Certain schools who have introduced international cultures do not train your students for Indian environments.
true.
They are
Yeah.
not trained to work hard. They are not trained because they get exhausted. It's not their fault. I'm not even blaming them. They are brought up in an environment, they are constantly put in an environment where you feel if you want to get into a rigorous job in a country where you will not get work-life balance like you're supposed to, then
Mm,
that kind of thing. And then you have to crib about, see, every industry in our country, although it's a developing country, I would not say, and we are very close to being a developed country, but even at that point in time, at that fact, I would say that every industry has an industry standard payment right now. If
true.
you're starting
Yeah.
out, I'm not saying you're a professional, I'm saying you're a fresher. But in a field like law, if you come to me, you have to put in the hours of work because this field is extensive. It is not
Yeah.
just appearing in the courtroom, it is what leads to that appearance in the courtroom, which is the entire working process. Because the courtroom is absolutely unpredictable.
Mm,
So you don't have to kind of, only look on that factor. There are n number of things as well. And of course, you will face situations where people are trying to convince you into doing something. So again, that consumerism factor gets, quietly spreads all around that idea. You being a consumer and how are you doing that? So there are n number of things. And I've seen people
definitely.
who, they might have very good counsels. Let me just assume and take the example of my field. They might have the best counsel, their counsel might be very knowledgeable. My friends, clients, and other people like that, they might be very good. Just because they have 10, 15 years of experience in their field, and suddenly they feel, oh, that counsel is a brand name. Even though he or she might not be, known for that particular field of law, might not be the master. Sometimes you tend to run for that because of consumerism factor, just
Yeah.
because you have a mindset in your mind. Sometimes I feel before you give in to that consumerism factor, I would suggest making a pros and cons ideology. And once
Mm,
you made a pros and cons ideology, I would want you to kind of consider what all can be included, what is your benefit, whether it will benefit you or not. So the list goes on and on. So that's
definitely.
a very important factor, I feel.
Even in terms of traveling, I feel like people tend to do it just to post on social media. I guess if someone goes to, like, let's assume that one person has been to like a very exotic place, be it like Jammu Kashmir or like Kulu Manali or something. But if the neighbors has been to like they have been to abroad, then the person who have been
They would
to
want to push
yeah,
their limits as well. Yes.
definitely, yeah.
And that
And they
happens.
would even take
Women,
loan
right?
for it, I guess. People tend to do it. Even in marriages also, we can see that they all want to have big fat wedding and they take loans for it.
And I don't understand the need for a big fat Indian wedding. I mean, the ones who want
Yeah.
to have it, have it. I am not commenting on that. I am not, belittling anybody. But just because you have to go over your financial limit to please others, the other
Mm.
people will not even come to see you after that wedding who have not seen you in
Yeah.
a number of years. I feel that factor is pointless. It is your wedding. You should have your dream wedding. If it is your dream to have a big scale wedding, go for it. Make your ends meet accordingly, but do have a good financial plan, even if you're taking a loan. Then you
Mm.
have the capacity to repay it and you don't feel like you are, making a mistake. That regret factor
True.
should not come in. But if you don't want that, you're doing it to please others, then make sure you follow what you want to do. It's your special day. Your special
Mm.
should not go into thin air because you want to please others who don't even make you feel special.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
it's pointless. And as
Mm.
long as traveling is concerned, now that I feel like young people have the earning capacity and they've earned better in comparison to what people were doing 10, 15 years ago. and they have the capacity to travel abroad. But I feel the very fact that people have this comparison, and where parents say, oh, he and she has done that. One of my friends, I will not take names for obvious reasons, she is a chartered accountant. She's my school friend. Very good company, earning a lot per month. She bought herself a car. Her neighbor comes to her, and she's not married yet. Right. Her neighbor comes to her and said, but beta, this car does not go with your personality. You could have bought a better car. She said, I found it practical. I found it exactly for my needs. I have to travel a lot of distance every day. I feel it's practical, convenient, traffic, no traffic. How is somebody else bothered about my life choices? I am
Yeah.
very well in my life. I am earning well. I can afford a car. I can afford a house. What is your problem?
Hmm.
It was a very logical explanation. And she was not unfazed by it, that she was not affected by it. She said, how am I supposed to be affected by something that does not matter to me? And it struck out to me, she does have a valid point here. So, just
Definitely.
a session before I was having with a ma'am, and I told her one thing. And I said, why are you getting, affected by opinions of others who are not even standing on the pedestal you're standing?
Hmm.
Very true. People get affected by opinions of others
Mhm.
because they are standing up top and others are not even there. They might not feel comfortable because they have not reached that level. I said it's very easy to pass a comment, but it's very difficult to maintain your composure. And
True.
from this very fact, I will give you the best example with the recent incident that happened in the Supreme Court of India.
Hmm.
Somebody just threw a shoe at a Chief Justice of India.
Okay.
Our Chief Justice of India, he did not panic at all. The entire courtroom went awry, but our Chief Justice and the registrar said, we are not willing to press charges. These kind of incidents don't unfaze us. And the only thing I would say is, he went about doing his own thing. It's other people who got agitated. How could you do it? See, I understand the kind of respect because he's sitting at that position. He has some sort of an authority, but he was unfazed by it, that I will not get affected by a situation like this. If somebody does not like a stance for something, this is not the way you appear. This is not the way you make your voice heard, and I will not hear it. With this action of his, this implication was absolutely loud and clear. I was
Hmm.
not affected, which is something I think not just as a lawyer or a professional, I would say anybody out there in their fields, because corporate pressure, non corporate, any other field that you're working in, that pressure tends to affect you and consumerism ends up affecting you. I have
Definitely.
so many people who get into bad habits like drinking and smoking because they have seen somebody else do it. Why? Because they feel extreme stress. I said there are other ways. You go work out. You remove stress from your body, you don't add to it, and you don't deteriorate your health because of it. There are so many good
Hmm.
exercises that are like better stress. Go learn MMA, go do boxing, go do cardio,
Yeah.
something. I mean, it's
True.
just on your opinion how you become a consumer. Whether
Wow.
you get affected by the
Hmm.
positive factors, whether you get affected by the negative factors, it absolutely matters to the mindset. And before you get affected, maybe you want to trying something and getting addicted to something are two different things. Having a
Definitely.
balance is important, and being very clear what you want and what you don't. This message would specifically be for students who have just graduated to professional life. It is not for professionals because at one point of time you get to know what you want. You've had your fair
Hmm.
share of fun, you've had a good college life, and now you feel like it's time to get serious. Some people are at the threshold where they think, chalo, now I'm about to get married, or this is about to happen in my life. I have to turn things around. And seen people turn things around for the positive and for the better. So there
True.
are things like that. So I would say that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of factors, but then consumerism also depends on one particular's mindsets, the one who is the consumer, and how they get affected and how they make a list of what is right for them and what is not. Some self-realization is equally important in the process.
Hmm.
Without
Definitely.
self-realization, I don't think you'll be able to reach that level. So self-realization, again, in this whole case, plays a very, very important role.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And the point that you brought up, I'm glad that you brought up that point. The one with the addiction, I feel like it can be of good things also, like you mentioned, MMA, boxing, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People are always under the impression that, addiction is a bad thing. But if
Yes.
you are addicted, like you can be addicted to books, reading books, you can be addicted to workout, doing yoga. I'm addicted to eating good food. watching good films, English films, doing podcasts. So these are my good addictions, I would say that. So you
Absolutely,
can do it. Yeah.
absolutely. See, I would say I am not a selfish person, but as long as it my morning run is on the question mark, I would say I get very selfish because it helps me function. So I will say that's a positive addiction that I have. And I'm like you said, you have an addiction for good food and podcasts and whatever helps you grow as a person. So I think
Definitely.
if you term it as or label it as positive addiction or your routine, it's the same thing.
True.
It's just how you look at things. I am not saying a person who is a smoker is a bad person. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. The habit is bad, and I'm sure if you're trying to leave it, you just need the right guidance. I have seen people who have been smokers for a number of years, and they one day they've just flipped their life around and they've stopped smoking at all, and they're still going at it. But then there are people who want to quit smoking, but every day they're still standing with a cigarette in their hand. With
Yeah.
very fact, they say, I want to leave, I want to leave. See, you want to leave, you make a plan for it. If you only dream and daydream about doing something and you do nothing about it, it will always be
True.
a daydream. For
True.
anybody who's wanting to do something with their life, you have to have a roadmap. I will, okay, fine. If you feel like long-term planning doesn't work for you, you want to go with the flow, but going with the flow does not mean that you have no plan at all. At least
Hmm.
think of what is coming next. What are you working on next? Then you can see, okay, this has been achieved. I'm being guided in this direction. Go in that direction.
Definitely.
See, the simplest way to go with the flow to tell you is even when the river runs very fast, if it's in the deep point, they will still have chains for you to go somewhere. So if you
Hmm.
don't hold on to the chains, you will flow and you might hit a rock, but you won't even realize what has happened to you.
Yeah.
Same logic goes with life. If you keep on going with the flow, thinking your life will turn out very positive because you're a very positive person, you don't even realize when you've hit rock bottom.
Definitely.
And
Could
one
agree.
day you feel, okay, oh wow, I did not have the plan, but I'm a very successful entrepreneur. And then you feel, okay, I have three people working for me. I'm able to provide for them. They are able to help their families. And I'm able
Yeah.
to make profit out of it. How about I help more people? I employ more
Hmm.
people. I take my business to the next level. You won't even realize the moment you're standing there or the moment where you feel I've done nothing in life after 40 years of my life.
Definitely.
It
Oh.
actually varies from person to person and how things are, how you perceive. So, consumerism factor is everywhere.
Hmm. Makes sense. Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right. I guess on that note, I guess let's call it a day. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
We only have a few minutes anymore, anyways, so we have utilized our time very well.
Yeah. All
So, yeah.
right. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you.